It was just past 6 p.m., and the hospital lobby was quieter than usual. The fluorescent lights cast a pale glow over the polished floor, and the scent of antiseptic lingered faintly in the air. Daniel, a single dad in his early 30s, sat in one of the waiting area chairs with his 7-year-old daughter, Emily, curled up beside him. They were there for Emily's routine checkup after a mild case of pneumonia. Daniel was scrolling through his phone when movement caught his eye. Across the room, near the pediatric wing entrance, a nurse in scrubs knelt down and hugged a little girl tightly. Daniel noticed something strange. After the hug, the nurse gently kissed the girl on the forehead with such tenderness, such aching love, that it didn't seem like the casual affection of a nurse toward a patient. But Daniel knew this little girl. She wasn't the nurse's daughter. Her real mom was sitting on the other side of the room, filling out forms. Confused, Daniel kept watching. The little girl smiled faintly, but didn't speak. The nurse whispered something to her, then straightened up, brushing away a tear before walking briskly back toward the hallway. Daniel felt a strange pull in his chest. Something about the nurse's expression, the pain in her eyes, made him stand up and approach her. He caught up with her by the vending machine and, without really thinking, said, "I hope you don't mind me asking, but you seemed really emotional back there. Is everything okay?" The nurse hesitated. For a moment, Daniel thought she might ignore him. But then her face softened, and she looked down as if gathering the courage to speak. "That little girl," she said quietly. "She reminds me of my daughter." Her voice trembled on the word daughter. Daniel frowned. "Reminds you of her? Is she?" "She passed away last year," the nurse whispered. "Leukemia. She was just 7. Daniel's breath caught in his throat, the same age as Emily. "Today, it's her birthday," she continued. "I promised myself I'd work to keep my mind busy, but then I saw that little girl. She had the same eyes, the same shy smile. I know she's not mine, but for a second, I just wanted to hold her. Just once more." Her voice broke completely, and Daniel's own eyes blurred. He didn't know this woman, yet he could feel the rawness of her grief like it was echoing inside his own chest. He thought about how fragile life was, how quickly someone you love could vanish. Without thinking, he said, "Come on, I want you to meet my daughter." He led her back to the waiting area. Emily looked up, curious but smiling. Daniel knelt beside her and said softly, "Emily, this is Nurse Claire. She's a very special lady." Emily, always empathetic, tilted her head. "Hi, Nurse Claire." Claire smiled faintly, then knelt to Emily's level. Daniel whispered to his daughter, and Emily, without hesitation, wrapped her arms around Claire's neck. Claire froze for a second, then held her tight, closing her eyes as tears slipped down her cheeks. It wasn't the same as holding her own daughter, but for one fragile, fleeting moment, it felt like the warmth she had been aching for all year. When it was time to leave, Claire thanked Daniel quietly. "You have no idea what that meant to me," she said. On the drive home, Emily asked why the nurse had been crying. Daniel glanced at her in the rearview mirror. "Because sometimes people lose someone they love very much," he said gently. "And even a small act of kindness can help them feel a little less alone." That night, Daniel sat beside Emily as she fell asleep, the nurse's story still heavy in his heart. Life didn't promise tomorrow, he realized, and the smallest gestures, like a hug, a kind word, a moment of understanding, could be more powerful than we think. And somewhere across town, Nurse Claire sat in her quiet apartment, a single cupcake on the table with 7 tiny candles. For the first time in months, when she closed her eyes and whispered, "Happy birthday, baby," she didn't feel completely alone. If you want, I can now create 5 perfect emotional scene prompts for this story that would be ready for AI image generation. These would capture exactly the moments a YouTube audience would connect with visually. Would you like me to do that next?